there, YouTube. And again, doing the same old thing. Smoking a pipe and talking to you. Hope everybody had a good Super Sunday. Whether or not he was going for the Packers or the Steelers, it was a pretty good game, I thought. But, guess that's not even really what I was going to talk about today. Yesterday I watched the 10 questions video that Jay put out, and it was quite interesting. The prices and distances and odd stuff like that. So I went ahead and left a comment last night, ran down the list of what everything is here in New Zealand, and shortly, not long after, before I went to bed, I didn't respond to it last night, but just before I went to bed, I got a question from a fellow in Germany. It's Lars. I apologize, I can't stumble on my English, let alone another language. But Lars, we'll go with Lars. He asked me, because the price for 50 grams of tobacco here in New Zealand is, the cheapest you can find is $49.50. Yep, $49.50. And he couldn't work it out. He said, well, how is that all tax? What is that? Because even in Germany, he says, we have a lot of tax and all that on ours. But is it that expensive? Yeah. Truth be known, it is. It's mostly tax. See, the thing is here, and it's a scary thing if you're a smoker of anything, is that they want to eradicate, or at first this was the spiel, was they want to eradicate tobacco from the country. And must have been 7 or 8 months ago, maybe last year at one point, in an overnight parliamentary session, they went ahead and passed a law that raised, at that point, it raised the tobacco tax by 13%. And within 6 months after that, which was the January following, would be another 10%, and each January following for the next 4 years would be another 10% tax rise on the price of tobacco. Regardless, there's no distinguishing between pipe tobacco and cigarette tobacco and cigar tobacco. It's tobacco. It's evil. It's got to be eradicated. That was the line at the time. Well, since then they've toned down, I guess, a little bit. They've gone from eradicating to smoke-free society. And by smoke-free, the explanation that was given to the reporter that asked the question was, well, what's smoke-free mean? And they, rather than eradication, they figured that smoke-free would be less than 3% of the 3% or less of the population that smoked. So yes, as of this date, with the taxes, a 50 gram, the low end, the cheapest 50 gram tin of tobacco or pouch that you can get is $49.50. Now that's a lot of money. And in the next 3 years, that's going to go up 30%. It's even more money. So that is probably an effective way to at least make people that smoke upper class, or if not upper class. And this brings up another debate, particularly when the cigarettes are under the same classification. They're gonna, particularly with cigarette smokers, they're gonna smoke anyway. If you're that addicted to a drug, you're gonna do it. They're gonna spend that money on tobacco. They're gonna spend a third to 2/3 of their income on alcohol or tobacco, because somebody in Parliament believes that the more you tax, the less they'll do it, which in some cases, in some things, it may well be true, but I don't think it's going to work out quite like they expect with this. And the stronger families and all that. Well, What about the family where the dad or the mom or even both are addicted to alcohol and cigarette tobacco, for instance? They're going to spend that money, and that's going to take more money out of the milk fund or the cereal fund or the fund that keeps the kids going. But that's a different subject. But yes, $49 for a 50-gram tin of tobacco now. Come next January, it's going to go up 10% from that. So it's even more. And for the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to do that. What a cheery subject, eh? But anyway, yeah. So that's why I. And by the way, I know plenty of cigarette smokers here and people that use that tobacco. I'm the only pipe smoker that I know in this area, and that was another one of the 10 questions. And so it begs the question of, does it really matter for pipe smoking? For me, it probably really doesn't, because my stay here in New Zealand is probably going to finish within the next 12 to 18 months, if not sooner. So, not only that, I try to be wily and I order tobacco off the internet. Like just this week, I ordered 400 grams. Paid $50 and a little bit of change for the 50 grams of tobacco, 400 grams of tobacco, 3 100-gram tins and 2 50-gram tins. And I was quite happy to pay $25 in shipping on a $50 tobacco order. So that's a third, or half again, the price of the product itself to have it shipped here. So in the New Zealand dollars, that translate on my statement, it's going to be a little over $95. So for 400 grams, assuming of course it gets through customs, that's always the roulette wheel with that, the customs roulette wheel. But assuming it does, and it usually does. If not, it's not as bad as it may sound. Because to buy 400 grams here, and we're talking about the lowest end. There's more expensive tobacco. If I wanted to go to town, there's another shop in town. I could go get Peterson or Dunhill. Oh, not Dunhill. They don't have Dunhill here. Sorry, Davidoff. Davidoff is probably about $67, $68 for 50 grams, and the Peterson's is just over $70 for a 50-gram tin. And there's only 3 varieties. You get Sherlock Holmes, Sweet Killarney, and Connoisseur's Choice. And that's it. And same with Davidoff. I think there's 3 or 4 of the Davidoffs that he has, but they're all about $57, $58. So for the low end, Aaronmore, Aaronmore Flake, and Aaronmore Mixture, the only tin tobaccos that are at that low end of the price. And then I think there's 4 or 5 Borkum Riffs. Yeah. If you want to pay $50 for a pouch of Borkum Riff, come to New Zealand. Anyway, now I'm starting to lose my footing on what I was trying to talk about, but you can get it. But yeah, paying $50 US plus $25 US to ship it, that translated into a little over $90 New Zealand, and that's for 400 grams. If I had bought that 400 grams here, that would be, you tell me the math. The way I reckon it, that's about $400. So, paying $100 for 400 grams as opposed to paying $400 for 400 grams. I think with the rise in taxes and such, I just have to be more careful about how I order tobacco, and hopefully for the next year or so it'll come all right. I won't have to pay $50 for 50 grams of tobacco, because that's a little bit steep. So if you're out there worrying about how much you're paying for your tobacco, and it's less than $50 for 50 grams, or $1 a gram, we'll call it, you're doing all right. And if you're worried about it going up, maybe it's time to double up your order. Get 2 of each one, stuff some in the closet, because I'll tell you what, the price ain't going down. So, if you think you're taxed, probably are, but here in New Zealand, we're taxed to the max. Anyway guys, enough of the ramble. Hope you had a good weekend, good week ahead. We'll talk at you later. Cheers.